Well, I just really felt like my leaders, we're in kind of a planting season in our team, meaning we are talking to a lot of people and we haven't experienced that boom season. So I want to take the time now to prepare my leaders for when that happens, because when that happens, when it happens for you, because it's not if, it's when it happens for you, you're going to need help. You cannot do this by yourself. As your teams grow, especially as you start to get up there towards diamond, you can go diamond maybe by yourself if you're a real hustler, but you will not be able to go beyond that without help. So why not start training our leaders better? Why not giving you some tools to kind of take your business to the next level so that you have confidence and you feel better about what you're doing? So if you are all about that, you are in the right place. Okay. So first of all, I want you to know that I teach this just as much to remind myself as I do my team and anybody on here. You might notice Melody's on here with Emily. They're at work together. And, Melody just killed our team huddle this last week. But guess what? Look what she's doing. She's on here. She's on here, you guys. So no matter how much you grow in this business, you will always need these basic foundational reminders. And what I want you to do each week, take notes, because I want you to remember how we're teaching you, because then you can turn around and mimic it. Okay. And so I just want to kick it off with, anytime during this chat, or anytime during the Zoom, feel free to drop it in the chat. I want to know what you're hoping to gain, what you're hoping to learn, what you feel like your biggest struggle is right now, so that we can make sure to really address those. I think you'll find as we go along that we're probably going to address those things. But I am starting from a place of almost ground foundation. Let's build our foundation, the things that I wished I would have known a little bit sooner. And so tonight is about, like, how did I get here? How do I make this transition from growing my business and doing my own thing? And then how do I go from that to all of a sudden being responsible for teaching people, leading people, and it's a lot. How do I do that? So tonight it's just talking about that transition. I'm really curious, how many of you have felt that transition to be very natural? And how many of you have felt that transition to be more of a challenge? Drop a 2 if it's been challenging, drop a 1 if it's been more natural for you. I'm a 2 all the way. And you know what? I led people almost my entire corporate career. Depends on the person. That's a great point. Some people it's felt natural. Okay, perfect. So regardless, I just want you to know that sometimes it will be seamless because of the person. Sometimes it will not because of the person. But sometimes it's challenging because we're just not ready. We're not equipped. And so that's what we're hoping to do. So tonight I want to start with 3 practical things that I think you really have to do from the beginning. And I think you have to teach your people from the beginning in order to just really fully be ready. Now, we know that you learn as you earn, right? You learn as you earn. You're not going to always know everything before you need to. I wish that were the case. It's not like medical school or nursing school where you go and you learn everything that you're going to need to know, and then boom, you know it. I'll bet you to this day, Melody and Emily, whoever's in the healthcare field, they probably learn new stuff every day, right? But we're going to learn as we earn, right? So we're going to talk about 3 things. Are you guys ready? Okay. So the first thing I want you to consider, okay, you started your business, you're running your business for yourself. All of a sudden, either you have enrolled distributors or some have been placed under you. Now what? What do I do? Number 1, you have to get your house in order. What do I mean by that? You have to get your house in order to lead. So number 1, okay, get your house in order. You have to be consistent in doing the actual daily work every single day. Because if you are not consistent in doing the daily work every single day, they will show up the same way or they will outperform you. Which, hey, I hope my team outperforms me. That'd be amazing, right? They will follow your lead. Okay, so that's the first thing to fix. And I will be the first to admit I've had seasons in my business where I do not do this well. Okay, I'm saying this just as much for me as I am for any of you. But in order to lead your team, you have to be consistent about the daily work. When you guys think of Katie Rogers, what do you think? Consistency. You think of someone who just gets it done, right? She's known for that. She's a strong leader because she always leads from the front and she's consistent about the work. Okay. What else does it mean to get your house in order? Yeah, she's my idol. You have to do self-development. Okay. You as a leader, more than ever, even when you were just doing this for yourself, if you do not have a form of self-development, you will be so drained. Because as a team, you cannot pour into people from an empty cup. So if you do not start your day with some form of fuel for your mind, your heart, and your body, you will not appreciate it at the end of the day when your cup is not only empty, it's like negative. Okay. So being a leader is really, really a wonderful blessing, but it can be so draining. So if you need ideas for self-development, we'll be sharing some of those throughout this time together. But if you need ideas, let me know. And I'm not talking about just listening to a 10-minute YouTube thing and calling it a day. Unless that 10-minute YouTube thing, you literally looked at it and you said, okay, what can I take from that and apply today? Because otherwise it's just in ear, one out the other. So anytime you're doing self-development, I want you to think of this acronym. I want you to think of ACT, A-C-T. Okay, what can I apply based on what I'm learning? What can I change? And what can I teach? If you do those three things with your self-development, it's going to stick and it's going to show, and you're going to be able to help your team. What am I going to apply? What am I going to change? What am I going to teach? Okay. And sometimes out of my self-development comes some of my best posts that I make about what I'm learning. Okay. So it's really valuable. Lastly, in getting your house in order, guess what you got to do? You got to show up. And especially when you don't want to. Show up when people ask for volunteers. Even if you're scared, do it scared. Show up to the family calls every Sunday night. And when you can't, better be the first thing you do in the morning and you share what you learned with your team, because guess what? It's important to be there. Show up to the team huddles as much as you can. We know people work, we get that, totally get that, but just show up. Okay? Especially when you don't want to. How many of you have found when you showed up to a team huddle, a family call, or some kind of training when you really didn't want to, or maybe there was something a little bit more tempting that you would have rather done? How many of you sat there and thought, okay, God, this was meant for me and this is why I'm on this call, right? Okay, right? So number one is get your house in order. Y'all kind of getting that? You got to be consistent about the work. You have to do your self-development because you can't pour from an empty cup, and you have to stay close to the fire. I don't know if any of you saw the post I made a while back, but I read it in either a book or I heard it somewhere, and it was the most amazing analogy of why you stay close to the fire. It was a pastor who noticed one of his members hadn't been coming to church, and so he decided to go and visit him, and the guy invites him in. They sit down by the fire, they're having coffee, and he says, what do you think would happen if I pulled that coal out of the fire and just set it right here? And the guy goes, well, gosh, I don't know, probably just go out. The fire would go out, right? So he takes that coal and he pulls it out, and sure enough, the fire dies. He said, what do you think would happen if I put it back? So he takes that coal and he puts it back in the fire and it reignites. Okay. And the guy was like, okay, I get your point. I need to get back to church. So there's two morals to that story, right? When you stay close to the fire, you remember, it helps you remember why you're here. You stay excited. You see other people's excitement that really gets you going. But I also want you to hear that if you haven't been close to the fire, guess what? You can be relit. No matter how far away from the fire you get, just like with Jesus's love, no matter how far you get, you can still be lit, relit. Okay. So don't ever think that you're too far. Okay. All right. Those 3 things in getting your house in order, how many of you that resonates with? How many of you feel like there's something there for you to take away and change, fix, or do? Yes. Awesome. All right. Number 2. All right. Now that you're leading a team, the second thing you really need to do is you need to know exactly where you're going, and you need to be really loud about it. Okay? You need to know exactly where you're going and be really loud about it. How many of you have seen the little family circus cartoon with the little footsteps all over the place? Like it's this little trail. My husband says that that's me. Like he can tell where I've been in the house. I don't know if I appreciate that, but can you imagine if you're a leader who doesn't know where they're going, your people will follow you. And so if you're just wandering all over the place, kind of lost, you're doing the daily work, but you're not really sure why, they're going to follow you. Wouldn't it be better for them to follow you if you know where you're going? That might seem really stupid simple, you guys, but do they know where you're going? Do they know why you're working? Do you want to make it in the winner's circle? Do you want to make it to triple diamond? Do you want to make it to paying off 20,000 in debt? Do they know what you're working for? Share it with them. Share it with them. Okay? Write it down, put it all over your house, put it all over your computer, put it all over your notebooks, and be loud about it. Because guess what? They need to be loud about it too. And if you're loud about it, you're going to lead from the pack. But I think to have a leader that is fully engaged, fully talking about what's important, guess what? Not only will it ignite your team, but it'll ignite you too. It'll remind you daily. So it serves both purposes. How many of you know exactly why you're here and what you're doing this for? And how many of you have lost that? If you've lost that, it's okay, because guess what? My friend Kelsey's on here. I see my girl. She and I were talking last month. Was it last month? I don't remember. I had forgotten why I was here. I'd forgotten why I was here. So I was not telling my team. Angie and Tara and Tammy are on here, and I was not telling them where I was going. But guess what? I'm going double, y'all. And it's not about the title. It's because I need to pay off some big things. We just moved into a house that had no landscaping. And if you guys have never had to landscape a home, it's really freaking expensive. That sounds really simple, but to me, it's a massive burden on my shoulders. To know that I have the ability to go out and make enough money to pay for our landscaping is really exciting to me. So be loud about it. And if you don't have a why, it looks like a lot of you recently have had your why change. And I love that because it probably will. Okay. So you're going to get your house in order. You're going to know exactly where you're going and they're going to follow you. Lastly, you guys, yes, I love when you guys shout out your goals. Love that, Angie. Go and Emerald. Yes, you are, girl. Yes, you are. Okay. You know the best way that you can go to a new level in your business? Look at somebody in your downline who's working hard and help them go where they want to go. Okay. So if you look at somebody and say, that girl works, she shows up, and I'm going to help her go exactly where she needs to go. I'm going to help her go Ruby. Okay. Helping people will help you get where you need to go to. All right. Number 3, lastly, okay. You have to build relationships with your people. There's a lot to say about this, but I want to keep this short. So you have to build genuine relationships with your people. If you're like me and you're a red personality, sometimes you can mow people right over. Sometimes you can be a little too direct. I probably have been. Okay. Sometimes you can be a little too goal-oriented and not people-oriented. And then some of you are as yellow as can be and are too people-oriented and you forget to do some of the hard things. And then some of you are, it's just oozes naturally from your pores to be people-oriented. Okay. So what does this look like in your business? What does it look like in your business to build relationships? Okay. I want you to first ask yourself, do I know why each and every single one of my people who are running with me, I'm talking about investing in people that are investing in themselves. So do you know why they're here? Do you have their whys put up around? I know Tammy's, I know Tara's, and I know Angie's. They may have changed. We haven't talked about it in a while, but do you know why they're here? I'm going to be sharing some really cool trackers and things that I've made that I've been using with my people. And if you want to use them, great. If not, don't worry about it. But one of them is literally like a dream tracker. And I have them hung up in my office. Okay. So do you know why they're here? Do you pray? Again, you know me, girls. I'm a person who's going to put faith at the center of my business. So this leadership orientation is really going to be how I lead with Jesus at the center. So do you pray for your people? Do you pray for your people? Okay. Are they more than just a box? Are they more than just volume? Because man, we can get in that headspace especially when you're right in the midst of a promotion and you're charting and you're like, okay, this box needs this much in volume. This box needs this much in volume. And you start to not call them by name. You're going to start to go, oh yeah, that person needs 400, that person. No, Tammy needs 300 more in volume so that she can pay off that last credit card. Like if you know their why, they're more than just a box. Because in the back of your mind, I think to myself, Tara, if Tara gets to Ruby and makes about $600 a month, daycare's paid for. Okay, so I want you to make that connection just as much as you do for yourself. I want you to remember the emotional connection that that is important for your people. Crazy, right? You just signed up to make money for yourself. Now, I want to be really, really clear. You could probably be successful and not do any of this, but you're only going to get so far, and you're going to build a team that's going to look kind of like a house of cards. It could fall at any moment because there's no emotional attachment there. At the end of the day, we have basic needs that need to be met. We want to be heard, we want to be seen, we want to be loved. And so why not make your team, I love that, Kat. Why not make your team a culture of relationships? Now, I will tell you, there are some people that just don't want to do that and don't want to reciprocate that. How many of you have people that love the relational part of it, and then you have people that are like, just tell me what to do so I can go make money? You guys got people like that? And that's okay. That's okay. Your leadership style will adapt with the people. And we're going to talk about that later on in some of the training later on. But tonight was really focusing on what do I need to do, those foundational things to be prepared to lead my team. Okay. So you're going to get your house in order. That's probably the most important part. Okay. You're going to know where you're going and you're going to be super loud about it. Really loud about it. And you're going to build connections. Yeah. Or they want money without the work. Totally happens all the time, every single day. All right. So those are the top 3 things. Now let's talk about what does that look like on a day-to-day basis? What does it look like on a day-to-day basis? So I'm going to share with you what I do, and take it or leave it, but it's just kind of some tips that I wanted to share with you. Okay. So how do I run my business and how do I make time to pour into my leaders? Okay. You have to schedule it. It has to be just as much a part of your day as your daily 6 list. So here's what it looks like for me. It might just be a simple, hey, Angie, hope you're doing awesome. Been thinking about you today. Let me know how I can best support you today. Happy birthday, Tara. I hope you have an amazing birthday. Oh my gosh, here's a little treat. You don't have to do that. I'm a gift giver, so I probably will do that. It's just sometimes as simple as reaching out every day and just connecting. Maybe it's going to their posts and just really commenting something genuine. Maybe it's saying, hey, this post is done really well for me. I thought I'd share it with you. Maybe it's loving them enough to be real with them and say, hey, girl, remember that dream tracker we filled out? Remember how excited you were at the thought of making $600? Well, guess what? You can do it. But I'm noticing you just haven't been posting. You haven't been showing up to the team calls. What's going on? Talk to me. Talk to me. Be real with me. Tell me what's going on. If you get to know your people, you're going to know when they're off. Kelsey knows when I'm off. I'll bet you 10 bucks. No, I don't want to bet 10 bucks. I'll lose it. She knows when I'm off. I know when she's off. I can 100% tell. Okay. So love your people enough to have the difficult conversations. So you got to make time for it. So it's just built into my day. I just make sure that I reach out when I feel like I need to. And I also reach out when something's not working, something is working, share those tips and tricks. If they come to you and say, I'm doing all the things and it's not working, be willing to have difficult conversations, okay? Because sometimes they're not doing all the things, okay? So you got to build it in your schedule. Lastly, what it looks like for me is, did I bring it in here with me? I didn't. It's on my other desk that I work at. I have a sheet of paper that has 3 questions on it. What does my ideal distributor look like? And it's attributes of my ideal distributor. What does my ideal team look like? What do I want my team to be about? And then I have all of it listed. And then the last thing I put on there is, what do I want my leadership style to look like? How do I want to lead? And I look at that every single day and I pray over it. And I just pray, Lord, bring those people to me. Not just for the financial blessing, because I feel like if I'm in alignment with God wants for my life, and he brings me these people, just like Melody said the other night, God has brought them to me for a reason. I want to honor the blessing with good work. And so that is something that's just tangible that I look at every single day. Okay. So that is a lot in 30 minutes, but I think it's super important. It's super foundational. We're going to get our house in order. And if something is out of order, fix it now. It's never too late. And you're probably going to have to reevaluate that all the time. You're going to have seasons in your business where you're on fire, you're blowing up eSuite. It's a harvest. And then you're going to have times where it's a planting season. Those are great times to reevaluate. So clean your house, get it in order, know where you're going, be loud about it, and build relationships with your team. Okay? What questions do you have? And what are you hoping to get out of this leadership training? The 3 things I keep on the notepad. Yes, I can. And you guys can unmute and ask questions if you want. What does my ideal distributor look like? What do I want my team to be about? And how do I want to lead? What kind of leader do I want to be? Yeah, check in with their whys again. Love that takeaway. Love it, love it. You are so welcome, you guys. Yes, so this has been recorded. I hesitate to start another group chat because Lord knows we're all in enough, right? But what I will do, let me think of a good way to get this to you guys. I'm going to print off a participant list, I think, if I can do that. And I'm going to screenshot it. And then I will send it to you guys because I have a feeling different people are going to tune in at different times. So I think the group chat would be kind of a nightmare to maintain. But I will get these to you guys for sure. And I will be putting them on my YouTube channel. So, all right, you guys, next week, I can't remember what it's about. Let me look really quick. And we are going to have special guests. I'm really excited about that part. You are so welcome. July 22nd, is that the next one? 7/7, yeah. July 22nd, we're going to be talking about what's your leadership style. So I am going to hopefully be able to send you, if there's somebody that's not on tonight that you know was going to tune in, feel free to send this to them. But I'm going to be sending you all a link to a really great leadership style assessment that'll help you kind of understand your leadership style. We're going to dig into that a little bit. So with that being said, I'm going to let you guys all go. Thank you so much for showing up and excuse me, showing up, and I'll get you the recording. You guys have a really blessed weekend. Bye.